Hey guys, RanterInShades here, XS my first Remember Rights vlog style, here with episode 10 of Shades Shirt Collection, that series I make videos for that nobody asks me to, but I do anyway. Figured it's been about a year since the last one of these that I did, and while I got a bunch of tickets for my upcoming concerts all bought, and while I'm waiting for some actual video material to come in my direction, I figured I'd get another one of these out of the way, so let's jump right into it! So I'll shimmy on over to the side, make some space for my visuals, and here we go. So here's the setup for this one. Around the time that I filmed the last shirt collection video, I was making some plans with my friend Space Metal Ferrari 248, who is the fan that I met up with when I saw Metallica in 2017. He had a spare ticket on him to see Avenged Sevenfold, and he asked me if I wanted to go with him. And I was preparing for that to be like the first shirt I talk about in this episode, but that plan ended up falling through due to the rest of Avenged Sevenfold's tour dates canceling due to M Shadows needing some, I believe, vocal surgery, I believe it was. And in the wake of that, a friend of mine told me that his band was going to be playing in Mass that day, so I made a trip out to Attleboro, Massachusetts, to see Shakeout. Shakeout is a band that I've mentioned in a couple of my videos, like in the albums that I liked portion of my best songs videos. It's a band put together by a friend of mine from college, AJ Chiarella, very good friend of mine. He was the vocalist and rhythm guitarist in One Fell Swoop, one of the two bands that I did a review of back when I had my short-lived Review in Shades series, and they ended up breaking up around the beginning of 2016, which is very unfortunate because they're my favorite out of all of AJ's bands. AJ went on to have a few projects, this one being one of them, and Shakeout is my favorite of his post-Swoop projects. Basically, if I can describe Shakeout for you, it's like if 21 Pilots had a more punky alternative sound. Like, it's very like hip-hop influenced alternative rock with a bit of a punk edge, and they come highly recommended. And also, like 21 Pilots, they're a two-person band. It's him and a drummer who's also named AJK, who is also the drummer in another Westchester band, Nice Shot Kid, another band I've talked about on this channel before. So I went and saw them. They were playing in Mass, and I like when bands from the Westchester County scene come on over here, because it gives me a chance to catch up and all that. And they put on a pretty cool set. It was great catching up with AJ, and I got him to play my favorite of the Shakeout songs, which is basically a song all about postgraduate life. It's a song called Seasons from the first EP, which is called Part 1. Let me play a clip for you.
Please just help me out. It's the end of the summer and I'm feeling doubtful about time changing and my life is rearranging. It feels so strange when nothing seems to be working out. I don't hate myself, but just hate when I feel like I'm letting me down. Time is of the essence and there's none to count your blessings. Use the hours in the day to avoid all the freaking out.
So yeah, if you like the sound of that, definitely check Shakeout out. That sounded kind of weird. I got this shirt there for free, actually. AJ gave it to me as a gift, which is cool. This was the design I liked best because the other one looked kind of plain and the only other one was a tank top, and I wasn't wanting a tank top. I'm not really a fan of these kinds of designs where the design is in like the breast area right up here, but still, they got a pretty cool logo and I like red, so it is what it is. Next, I didn't get this shirt at the particular concert that I went to. I ordered it off of the artist in question's website. The next concert that I went to after the Rest Repose one that I went to, this person would be Andy Timmons, one of my favorite guitarists ever, and also one of my main guitar influences, actually. I hear a good bit of his playing in my playing. Andy Timmons, if you don't know, he was the guitarist in one of my favorite underrated late 80s glam metal bands, Danger Danger. And what happened in the early 90s when Danger Danger were having some legal disputes, Andy Timmons basically was like, screw this, I'm out. And he not only joined Kip Winger's solo band, but also started a solo guitar career. And being that he's one of Joe Satriani's students, of course I'm gonna like the stuff that he put out. And when I heard that he was gonna be playing in Mass, I'm like, I'm getting on this this is gonna be great. And it was great. I had an awesome time. Like, if I were to be objective, I'd say this is like one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Sure, the venue might be small, but the quality of the performance, whew, my God. He was great. He has a very jazzy, bluesy kind of style integrated into his, shreddy kind of approach. And so if you're into like instrumental guitar stuff, Andy Timmons or the Andy Timmons Band comes highly recommended. And I also got a selfie with Andy Timmons after the show. I waited around for him to come out. I was wearing my Danger Danger shirt that I wore for the occasion, and he complimented the shirt, which was really cool. I don't think I looked particularly good in this selfie, but still. Whew. Such an awesome freaking night. And so because he didn't have any shirts at his merch stand, I went on his website and ordered, this is like the one shirt that I think was there. It has the cover art of his last album from 2016 called Theme from a Perfect World. And I really like the coloring and the design here. Unfortunately, I can't wear it in videos because since it's green, it's going to get keyed out when I apply the chroma key effect in editing, which is... it breaks my heart because I really, really like this shirt. Next, I'm going to tell you another story of how I got a ticket for this show. So in 2016, Black Sabbath was going on their farewell tour. I really wanted to go to this, but unfortunately, when they were coming to my area, I was on vacation with family. So I told myself at that moment, whenever Ozzy does a solo tour, if he ever does one, I'm going to just jump right on that no matter how expensive the tickets are, because I need to be able to have seen Ozzy perform before I can't, before, death inevitably catches up to him, as much as he's gonna keep cheating death for years and years and years. But yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tours Volume 2. I also went to this show with Space Metal Ferrari. We didn't sit together because we got our tickets separately, but we drove to the show together. Traffic was kind of shitty, and thus we unfortunately missed the opening band, Stone Sour, and a bit of the beginning of Ozzy's set. It was kind of unfortunate. I had to miss him open with Bark at the Moon, one of my favorite of his solo songs. Another cool thing about this is that he had Zakk Wylde playing guitar with him. Zakk Wylde, who had played on my favorite of Ozzy's solo albums, No More Tears. So I'm like, am I gonna freaking pass this up? Fuck no. He played a lot of classic songs and a few Black Sabbath covers. He played Fairies Wear Boots, War Pigs, and Paranoid. He really knew how to get the crowd excited, which is another thing I really liked. He was like, come on! And I'm like, oh man. And this was the shirt I got. This is the design I liked. Normally, I really don't like getting shirts that have people's faces on them, but with Ozzy, I mean, he's got such a distinctive image that you kind of need to make an exception here. And we got tour dates on the back, which I always like because I feel like it's such a rare thing that bands do these days, unless they're like high budget and whatnot. But we got tour dates. I saw him at the Xfinity Center, which, if you don't know, is my favorite arena in my state. And it says at the bottom, No More Tours Volume 2, World Tour 2018. Despite the mishaps that I faced that day, I'm still really glad I went to this because you never know, like I said, when Ozzy might pass away, and I'd like to be able to have gotten to see him perform before that happens, if that happens. Next shirt I got isn't a band shirt, but is still something I really want to show you guys because I really like this idea for a shirt. I got this for my birthday. This would be a Kramerica Industries shirt. If you guys don't know, I am a huge Seinfeld fan. It's tied with South Park for being my favorite show of all time. It's always a treat binging that, and for Christmas I got this day calendar that has a bunch of Seinfeld trivia on it, which is always really fun and whatnot. I got this from an uncle of mine who works at a, I believe, studio of sorts where they have a lot of merch of Seinfeld and The Office and whatnot. He sounds like he has a cool job from what I understand, and this is one thing I got for my birthday last year. And this isn't really a shirt I wear often. It's one of my pajama shirts that I only wear whenever I don't feel like getting dressed, or because I slept too late and don't feel like I need to get dressed for anything. It's one of those shirts, but I still like that I have this. Next concert I went to at the beginning of November, another band that was on my bucket list for quite a while because I just really want to see what a live performance from this band is like, and this would be Tenacious D. I've been curious for years what a live performance from Jack Black and Kyle Gass would be like, and it started out pretty interesting. I mean, basically the way their set went, they went in sort of a reverse order of their albums. They started out with songs from their new album, Post-Apocalypto, and then played some Rise of the Phoenix stuff, then Pick a Destiny stuff, and then self-titled stuff. And with the new album stuff, they were playing behind this screen where they had some of the cartoons that they drew for the concept of the album on the screen, and whenever the band would actually play, screen would become transparent and we would see the band behind it. We would see Jack Black and Kyle Gass move around. They were interesting to see live, and they were pretty fun to see live too. I mean, there were some points where Kyle Gass just wasn't really doing much of anything. He was just sort of walking around and doing some dancing and whatnot. But still, it was interesting to see what they're like up on stage. The only thing, though, is that there were a good few songs that I was really, really surprised that they didn't play. Like, they didn't play Wonder Boy. That surprised me the most. They also didn't play Master Exploder or Dude, I Totally Miss You, or even something like Storm the Gate or Classico. I mean, the Pick a Destiny soundtrack album is my favorite of their albums, so of course there's going to be a lot from that I like. They only played some of the more standout songs. They played Kickapoo, they played my favorite song of theirs, Beelzebub, The Final Showdown, and they played The Metal, and I think that was it. I was satisfied enough with their set. I was just surprised that they left a lot out. And this was the shirt that I got. Again, I made an exception for my little rule about not really liking faces on the shirt. It's an interesting design right here. They chose a pretty cool font for this, and the colors are pretty cool too. I like how they're just, riding on this motorcycle and passenger car with these purple sparks in the background. And we also got dates on the back where it's sort of a slanted Star Wars roll credits style, and I saw them play at House of Blues in Boston, so yeah. Next we get to my first concert of this year. I saw this band at the beginning of February. They're another band that was on my bucket list for quite a while, and one of the few 80s metal bands, apart from Ozzy that is, that I felt would be worth seeing, and this band would be, I can tell some people are probably going to laugh about now, Winger. So, you guys know me, I'm a glam nerd and whatnot, so of course there's going to be a bunch of glam bands that I'd want to see, and Winger is one of the very few because they're mostly in their classic lineup. They have Kip Winger, Red Beach, and Rod Morgenstein. The only original member that they don't have was the keyboardist, Paul Taylor. But there was enough classic members to where I was like, you know what? Okay. And when I got a notification on Facebook that there was a show announced in Massachusetts, I'm like, let's do it. And they put on a pretty cool show. I especially liked Reb Beach's performance. Reb Beach, honestly, is one of the best guitarists in that genre. He looked like he was having a lot of fun, really just tearing the freaking guitar up. And Rod Morgenstein also did a really great job on drums. And this was the shirt I got, the design I liked. It features my favorite of Winger's albums, their second album, In the Heart of the Young. And I would also say this is my favorite of their album covers. I really like this color scheme. I like the design. I like the way the logo looks, the blue, yellow, shiny, metally thing they got going. Pretty cool design for a shirt, I would say. Next is a band that was the subject of a recent video of mine. This would be Sick Vita. They were the subject of the discussion about crowdfunding part 2 video where I talked about the really poor timing of their Kickstarter rewards package that they had for the EP that they put out last year, and I talked about how it finally came in the mail and whatnot, and this was the shirt that was part of it, and it is a nice shirt. I mean, I wish the shirt had more colors on it, but I like the overall design with the basic cover art of their EP to be on your mind, and it's a good listen, definitely. If you're into pop punk, alternative rock, then Sick Vita comes highly recommended. It's unfortunate that they're no longer together, but You know, I'm glad I got to see them when I did, when they opened for I the Mighty back in 2016. Next, I don't have a shirt. I just really want to tell you guys this. The next concert I went to, like at the end of February, was Drake Bell. And I got VIP tickets for this, so I got to meet Drake Bell. I thanked him for having a hand in inspiring me with making me want to learn guitar, and he was pretty cool to talk to. He put on a pretty good set. I wasn't expecting his set to be like an acoustic set. I was kind of surprised about that. I was sort of expecting there to be a backing band with him, but he still did a pretty good job up there. He played a few songs that I recognized. Down We Fall from the episode of Drake and Josh where there's the little girl that has the crush on Drake. It's the song that he plays at the end of the video. That's actually my favorite of Drake Bell's songs. If you listen to the album version of the song, which is like 6 or so minutes long, it has a cool solo in it, so check that out. He also played Makes Me Happy from the series finale, Really Big Shrimp, and of course he ended his set with I Found a Way. And honestly, when I was at the show, I felt like I was like on the set of a Drake and Josh episode where he's performing live, because you'd be surprised, there was a lot of women at this show that were like, I love you, Drake! It was sort of weird at the moment, but still, I had a pretty fun time at this show. The last two shirts I have here are both shirts I got at Hot Topic from the last time I went over to the mall when I was getting a new charger, among a couple other things. One of the two shirts I got was Weezer. This is a cool design. I like this design. They have a cool logo. I like the lettering up here. It's also a really comfortable shirt. The colors are also pretty cool. Weezer is a solid band for the most part. I like their first 6 albums. Haven't really been paying close attention to their more recent albums. I hear some good things about it, some bad things, but those first 6 albums, yes, even Make Believe, I'll always find some enjoyment in, especially with a song as amazing as The Greatest Man That Ever Lived from the Red album. That song is a masterpiece. And finally, this one is probably going to raise some eyebrows. This might or might not start a little debate in the comment section. It's none other than Michael Jackson. I know.
Michael Jackson? Really? After the Leaving Neverland documentary?
Listen. Watch Razorfist's videos, and you will understand why I don't believe shit about those allegations. And even if the allegations were true, I believe I'm able to separate the art from the artist with Michael Jackson, because the music that he put out back in his heyday is, by all accounts, timeless. Like, honestly, are you really gonna tell me that you aren't gonna be able to enjoy songs like Beat It and Billie Jean and Thriller and PYT? You're really gonna tell me you're not gonna be able to enjoy those songs anymore? No, you're kidding yourself. But yeah, I also saw this at Hot Topic, and I thought, I can't say no to this design, this black tie-dye, this interesting design, again with an exception with having his face on there. It's a cool design, featuring the Bad artwork with 88 written there, and being that my name's also Michael, it could be seen as somewhat egotistical wearing a shirt with my own name on it, but whatever. That isn't even my favorite of his albums. It would actually be like 3rd in the ranking of my favorite of his albums. Thriller, of course, is my favorite, then followed by Off the Wall, then Bad, and then Dangerous. And we got a back design here. It's one of those tour shirts where, you know, I'm skeptical if this was an actual design for a tour shirt from back in 1988, but that's what it says here. And on the back we have the track listing from Bad. And as much as it might not be my favorite of Michael Jackson's albums, it does have some good songs on there. You got the title track, you got The Way You Make Me Feel, you got Dirty Diana, you got Smooth Criminal, you got Man in the Mirror, you got Liberian Girl, Just Good Friends, Leave Me Alone. Good songs. Surprisingly, whenever I've worn this shirt in public, nobody has said a word to me, so I think that should tell you something. And that's all I got for this video. Hope you found it somewhat enjoyable. I know I don't really like making unscripted videos, but surprisingly, I don't feel like I spent too much time filming this one, so hopefully it comes out somewhat decent. Thank you for watching, take care, and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.